Hi friends, Miki here with your singing tip of the week. Today we're going to talk about riffs and runs, which are any of the ornaments or foofs that advanced singers add into their performances to make them more exciting. Riffs and runs are great because they can really distinguish an amateur singer from a more advanced singer because they require a lot of vocal control. However, I will caution you that a lot of singers, when they go from amateur to intermediate, get really excited that they can now do riffs and runs and they start over singing and putting them everywhere. The thing that distinguishes an intermediate singer from a more advanced singer is the ability to use riffs and runs judiciously. So they're kind of like a spice on your food. You want to add them in when it makes sense musically and when it enhances your interpretation and the listener's experience. The key to all of this is exercising good taste. Just because you can sing every note doesn't mean you should. When you're singing a specific riff, you want to make sure that each of the note choices is distinct and clear. That doesn't mean that you can't use legato or phrasing, but you want to be able to hear the conscious decision to sing each note. So if you're singing a descending scale, for example, ha, you want to think of it as if you're going down a staircase. You want to land on each of those notes as if it was a stair and you get your balance before you go on to the next one. In the same way that you wouldn't blindly run down a staircase without looking where you're putting your feet because you would slip and fall on your butt, you want to do the same when you're singing those notes so that it doesn't turn into a watercolor mush like, ah. A lot of times this requires learning a riff very slowly at first and making each of those note choices staccato and then working it up to speed and adding in phrasing. As you're performing, you can choose what notes you want to sing and where you want to sing them. And that takes a little bit of experience because you need to be able to hear your note choices in your head before you open your mouth to sing them. So what I would advise a newbie to do is to study the riffs and runs of other performers and memorize them and add them to your lexicon. And then over time, you have this bank of possible riffs that you can choose a piece from here and a piece from there and string them into your own creations. So today's warm-ups are all riffs and runs that I pulled from publicly available videos of Justin Bieber. His music kind of lies at the intersection of pop, hip-hop, and R&B, and he does use a lot of riffs and runs in his recordings and performances. He's also spent his entire career from when he was a very little boy to now in the public eye. So there's a lot of video available of him from before his voice dropped and when he was a much less experienced singer and performer, and you can really see the trajectory and progression of his entire career.
Oh, look how cute he was. And now he's that guy.
So the first warm-up we're going to do is in a minor key, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's going to go, yay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, yay. And you can take that as far down into your range as you need to warm up your low voice. The next warm-up is going to be an ascending and descending scale in triplets. And this one requires a lot of vocal control, so I would start very, very slow. As you get the hang of it, you can speed it up a little bit. really fast moving run exercise, I would keep it all in one range. So keep it all in your chest voice or in your head voice. Don't try to cross your break because that's just going to make it a lot more difficult. This next one is going to be in a major key and it's going to be on yay. So it's going to be and then back down. Okay? Is a really great belting warm-up. And again, I would just take it within one range. So I would just take it in my chest voice. I wouldn't go over my break into my head voice. Our next one is going to go into our head voice, and this one's going to be much lighter. So it's going to be So if I was really to break that down, the intervals are 1, 8, 7, 6, 7, 6, 5, 5, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. 1, 8, 7, 6, 7, 6, 5, 5, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. All of these are going to be much easier if they're within the same range. So you can hear when I'm trying to go from my head voice down to my chest voice, it becomes much more difficult. So if I were to move it up, it's easier for me to do it up there because I'm able to use the same technique within the full body of the run. So I would try to not cross over your ranges, especially in the beginning when you're first getting the hang of doing riffs and runs. Our last riff is in a minor key, and it's going to be yay. 3, 4. Yay. Yay. And you can take that as high or as low as you like. So obviously there's an infinite number of note combinations that you can string together into riffs. These are just a few. I'm going to link below to the Justin Bieber source videos that I pulled these from. I hope that this video was helpful and a little bit challenging in a good way. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you back here next week for another singing tip video. Until then, happy singing.